ladies and gentlemen, friends, families, supporters, and dignitaries. My name is Kourosh Doustshenas. As a speaker of the Association of Families of Flight PS752 victims, I thank you for joining us today for this important milestone on our long and painful journey. 42 months have passed since the dawning of a civilian aircraft over the skies of Tehran. Flight PS752 was scheduled to depart from Tehran towards Kiev at 5:15 a.m. on January 8, 2020. The plane departed after a 57 minutes delay, the cause for which was never revealed. 3 minutes after takeoff, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard fired at least 2 missiles at the aircraft, and after a terrifying 3 minutes and 42 seconds for the passengers and crews, it crashed in Shahed Shahr, a town southwest of Tehran. What transpired during and after the missile attacks was unprecedented in the history of civil aviation in the world. It was the first time that the government took military action against civilian airlines after it's permitted to take off. The survivors of the victims face unimaginable challenges in their pursuit of justice, a pursuit that took vast amounts of relentless efforts until reaching a milestone such as today, some of which you have seen in the video. I can summarize as follows. The Islamic regime leaders murdered 177 civilians on the morning of January 8, disrespected their remains, looted their belongings, lied for 3 days until they were exposed, and ultimately made a mockery of justice by staging a show trials at an unqualified and partial military tribunal where an unknown man was only convicted of negligence and disobeying orders and sentenced to 10 years in prison. But today, the case for the dawning of Flight PS752 has been referred to the International Court of Justice by the 4 affected countries, namely Canada, the UK, Ukraine, and Sweden. The association tirelessly led the lengthy campaign to pursue our cause and reach this major milestone. Now the case is filed at both the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. The association made the ICC filing independently, and the 4 affected countries made a referral to the ICJ, and we support them in this important step. I must first thank everyone who stood with us thus far. I thank the 4 affected countries and their respective legal teams who have been so resolute along the way to find the truth and bring justice for the victims and their families. The association has repeatedly stated that our primary mission is truth and justice, and we expect the truth and justice remain the primary objectives going forward. We remain resolute on our other demands, such as support for the case that we brought to the International Criminal Court, initiating official criminal investigation by RCMP, cooperation with Ukrainian Prosecutor General, and most importantly, to finally list the nefarious Islamic Revolutionary Guards as a terrorist organization without delay. Truth and justice are the association's primary objectives because it will help to heal the society's wounds, especially those endured by the people of Iran. It will also help to put a stop to such crimes. The missile attacks against the Flight PS-752 was not the Islamic regime's first crime. We are yet another link in the long chain of crimes committed by Islamic regime of Iran. From the burning of Abadan Rex cinema to the unlawful summary executions of former government officials shortly after revolution, to the brutal murders of innocent youth over the past 10 months, there seems to be no end to the criminality of this tyrannical regime. Over the past decades, such as the 80s, extensive atrocities have happened in Kurdistan and other Iranian provinces. Prisoners all around the country have been murdered while serving their sentences. Children were sent to the front lines of the war with Iraq that took so many lives. Widespread violence, crackdowns on student organizations, the Green Movement, and over 500 acts of terror, such as assassinations and bombings around the world, are just a few examples of the tyranny that has befallen Iranians. In November 2019, the silent murder of peaceful protesters took place, and the total number of victims are still unknown. 50 days later, missile attacks on Flight PS-752 closed another link in the endless chain of crimes committed by Islamic regime. We believe that the referral of this case to the ICJ can coalesce the voices of thousands of other victims' families who have suffered so much injustice under that regime. We believe that any and all international pressure on the Islamic Republic regime with such a long history of murder and mayhem will ultimately benefit the democratic movement in Iran. Our mission has been to pursue justice for 177 of our loved ones, but our pursuit is in honor of thousands of other victims of tyranny in Iran. We shall never forget those behind these organized crimes, nor shall we ever forgive them. Thank you.